Hey everyone, welcome to another review. As always, my name is Jay, and today I'll be reviewing the new Space Wolves Codex. It just came out today. I'm super excited. I've read it through a few times, and I know last Codex review I was a little pessimistic with the orcs, so today I'm going to try to remain optimistic. I'm going to talk about what would be good. In each video I'm going to talk about what would be a good addition to army and how you run it and stuff. Try to be more constructive, not negative. So the Space Wolves Codex came out today. Now, for those of you who know, Space Wolves are one of the oldest codices now. They were the oldest 5th edition codex in existence. Once orcs got a new codex, and Space Wolves were known for a couple things. Number one, really cheap, heavy shooting units, long fangs. They were cheap, very cheap, and they were good at bringing missiles and blowing up your opponent. Second thing that they were known for, really annoying psychic powers. If you played against them, you would know that Space Wolves had a lot of really weird special rules that made them powerful, and some really nasty psychic powers: Living Lightning, Murderous Hurricane, and Jaws the World Dwarf. Yes. And when 7th edition came out, they kind of removed those, but I knew that they were going to put them right back in the codex and slightly changed, and they did. So, yeah, now people who play Space Wolves, this codex is going to be a bit of a change for them. They're not going to be, I don't think they're going to be that upset, but they're not going to be that happy with a few things. But overall, I am very happy with this codex. There are a few things that are kind of annoying to the Space Wolf players. Obviously, they removed a lot of the really cool special rules. Basically, Games Workshop, I've been noticing, has really been trying to remove a lot of the crazy special rules for each army that make them unique. They're trying to kind of streamline the game. And they're also removing, they've been putting HQs now in the Lords of War chart. They did that with Gozkal Thraka, and they did that with Logan Grimnar in this one. So he's now a Lord of War. They have a new psychic table, and they've kind of changed. They decreased the quality of Jaws and Living Lightning and Murderous Hurricane. And they what else? Overall, they got a new force organization chart, which is really cool, which I'll be covering today. Their HQ slots just all dropped insanely in price. Great prices. They got a couple new vehicles. They got some new stuff. So I'll be going over this in extreme detail over the next several videos. Today I'm going to start with the psychic powers, warlord traits, relics, and the new force organization chart. And then in following videos I'm going to start with the HQ slot and work my way down the force organization chart. That way I can cover them in great detail, covering what I like and what I don't like. So yeah, my first impressions. So we'll start off with my first impressions. I think, as I said, this codex is pretty decent. I think it's a well-written codex. It tends to balance really well with the Space Marines codex. The points are really much aligned between the two. So they basically got, decreases in the points cost for their vehicles. Space Wolves, they got increased in price for their long fang weapons. Their HQs got dropped in cost on average. Their troops basically stayed the same, other than, Grey Hunters stayed the same. Grey Hunters got cheaper by a point, and Blood Claws got cheaper by a few points, so that's great. It's always great to get cheaper points. They got a new Dreadnought that has a really bad name, and a new vehicle that looks like a shoe, and a new Chariot for Logan Grimnar. So this is really cool, so we'll be going over this all. But let's start off with the new force organization chart, because, yeah, as I said, I think it's a good written codex. The special rules have been removed, but we'll talk about those after. So we'll start off with the new force organization chart. It's called the Wolves Unleashed Detachment. And basically the new minimum requirements for the Wolves Unleashed Detachment are 2 HQs and 2 troops. So you can't bring 1 HQ anymore for this Wolves detachment in your army. But here's where it gets fun. You can take up to 6, I say 6 HQs. 6 HQs. 6 troops, up to 6 troops. Up to 3 elites, 3 fast attack, 3 heavy support, 1 Lord of War, 1 fortification. 6 HQs. Now that's one of the things I've also always known Space Wolves for, is a lot of interesting characters. So now you can take them all. You can take Canis Wolfborn, Najal, Ragnar, Ulrich, all of them. You can spend more points in your army on HQs than troops. And that is pretty cool. Or you can have 6 rune priests running around the field, doing psychic powers, and just messing with your opponent. So that's really cool stuff. And there are restrictions. All units in this detachment must have Space Wolves faction. Command benefits: Jarl of Russ, or Jarl of Russ, probably Jarl of Russ. If this detachment is chosen as your primary detachment, you can reroll the result when rolling from the Warlord table traits for Codex Space Wolves. That's cool. And Cunning of the Wolf. Before deployment, roll a d6 for each unit in this detachment, adding +2 to the result of the unit's battlefield roll is troops, and it has been joined by an independent character from this detachment. Before rolling, inform your opponent which independent characters, if any, will start in the game joined to which troop units. On a 6+, that unit has the outflank special rule. That's awesome. In addition, at the start of each of your turns, after the first, you may select one unit from this detachment that is in reserves, that you can automatically pass this reserve roll to arrive this turn, no dice necessary. That's really cool. So it gives you control over who comes in, and it gives you control over outflank, and that is amazing. You can have some outflanking, you know, fast units, like you could have Thunderwolf Cavalry, you know, and they outflank and will rip your opponent to shreds. That's pretty cool stuff. So as I said, so that's a very interesting HQ. So now they're starting to do GW starting to mess around with the Force Org chart. So that's pretty cool stuff. So interesting stuff, you know, interesting. So I will remember this Force Organization chart. 6 HQs when we go over the next video, which is the HQ section. And as I mentioned, they're very well points cost. Now we'll go over the relics of the Fang. So each army obviously gets a hold of relics or artifacts and stuff. And this is not unlikely. And many of these artifacts are really great for close combat. I've noticed that a lot of the really cool powers in this book are focused at close combat, specifically challenges of characters and challenges. If you can stack one guy with these things, you will have a hilarious game. So we'll start off with the Armor of Russ. So the Armor of Russ confers a 2+ armor save and a 4+ invul save. Furthermore, when fighting in a challenge, see once again, in a challenge, the wearer's opponent has a -5 penalty to their initiative. So hello, that would be hilarious against Eldar, ripping apart the Eldar, and it's better than the Terminator save because it's 2+ armor with a 4+ invul. Pretty nasty. So great stuff there. You want to stack that on a heavy-hitting HQ like Canis Wolfborn. You can give it to Logan Grimnar, Niall. Just give it to someone who's really good in close combat. Maybe like maybe Bjorn. That would be hilarious. So we'll see if he has access to that. Oh no, not Bjorn. Obviously, he's a dreadnought, so you can't get to him. But that's pretty cool stuff. Next, the Bite of Fenris, and it has a 2 different shots. It has the Hellwinter Bolt, which is 24 inches, Strength 4, AP 5, Rapid Fire, Hellfrost, and there's also Flametide Bolt, 24 inches, Strength 5, AP 4, Rapid Fire, ignores cover. And Hellfrost is when a model suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from this weapon, it must pass a separate Strength test for each wound suffered, or be removed from play. There are some interesting remove from play things now in this codex. You'll notice I'll be going over that in a couple words as well. There's a few things that focus on remove from play, and remove from play is pretty nasty because it does ignore Eternal Warrior. You just remove the model, and that's pretty awesome. So it's a cool shot, and you can, you know, it'd be great for picking off orcs or something with a, you know, maybe you'll get lucky and they'll fail an armor save. It must pass a separate strength test. So again, Hertz and Eldar, that'd be pretty cool. Next is called the Black Death. It is a close combat weapon. It's Strength +2, AP 2, melee, unwieldy, Whirlwind of Death. The bearer of Black Death gains a +3 attacks for the duration of any fight subphase in which he is locked in a combat that contains more enemy models than friendly ones. So once again, you want a challenge in it and you want to be outnumbered. Pretty cool stuff. Helm of Durfast. Model wearing the Helm of Durfast rerolls failed to hit rolls. In addition, the wearer's shooting attacks have the ignore cover special roll. Again, not bad. You may want to give it to someone who has a good shooting attack, but I really like the Bite of Fenris or the Armor of Russ, or the next one coming up, Fang's Sword of the Ice Wolf. These names are interesting. Strength +1, AP 3, melee, Hellfrost, Rending, and it's Hellfrost once again. So in a close combat, you throw in your HQ that has the Fang Sword of the Ice Wolf. He does a wound. If your opponent fails a strength check, bye. Pretty cool stuff. And finally, the Wolfenstone. The bearer of the Wolfenstone and his unit have the Furious Charge special rule. In addition, the bearer has the Rage special rule. Handy. Not bad at all. So very cool stuff. Next, I might as well go over the Psychic Discipline, which is now called the Tempestus Discipline. It's the Space Wolf Psychic powers. And as I predicted, of course, Living Lightning, Murderous Hurricane, Jaws of the World Dwarf are back in the Codex, but they're all slightly different, and I'll go over each one to begin with. Number 1, Primaris power is Living Lightning. That's a great Primaris power, especially when considering that as long as you take 2 psychic powers, like if you have a Rune Priest, all you gotta do is take both psychic powers from the Tempestus Discipline, and they get Living Lightning for free. Living Lightning is a Warp Charge 1, 18-inch range, Witchfire power, Strength 7, AP minus, Assault 3, Shock. And Shock is equivalent to the Necron, like Tesla guns. On a 6 to hit, you get 2 extra shots, or 2 extra hits, unless it is Snapfire. It doesn't count if it's Snapfiring. So cool stuff there. Number 1, Stormcaller. Warp Charge 1. It's a blessing that targets the Psyker and his unit. While the power is in effect, the target unit has the Shrouded special rule. So, Stormcaller, Long Fangs in cover, and the Long Fangs, like if they're in ruins, have a 2-up cover save. And they will just fire at everything you could imagine in the game. That's pretty nice. I think like Long Fangs with las cannons are going to be really nasty. Next is Tempest's Wrath. Is a malediction that targets a single unit within 18 inches. While the power is in effect, models in the target unit suffer -1 penalty to the ballistic skill, and treat all terrain, even open ground, as difficult terrain. That will slow opponents down greatly. In addition, unless they are immobilized, all models in the target unit have the Jump, Jet, Pack, Jet Bike, Fly Monsters Creature, Flyer Skimmer unit type, must immediately make a dangerous terrain test. Cool, so it makes it dangerous. Number 3 is Thunderclap, Warp Charge 1. It's a Nova, Strength, 12-inch range, Strength 3, AP minus, Assault 2d6. Nothing too special. It'll hurt some Gretchen or Orcs or something. It's not too amazing because it's Strength 3, AP minus. It's not really going to do that much damage, and it's Assault 2d6, so on average 7 shots. Not too amazing compared to the other ones, for especially something called Thunderclap. Murderous Hurricane, of course, it's back. It's number 4. It's Warp Charge 2. It's a Witchfire power, and it's 18-inch range, Strength 4, AP minus, Assault 1, Large Blast with Rending. So once again, it got nerfed a little bit. Well, a lot, but... So, it's still not bad psychic power. It's a Large Blast with Rending, Strength 4. It will kill some things, you know. It will kill, if you get lucky and roll some 6s, it'll even kill Terminators. But not bad. It's not amazing. I really like Living Lightning compared to Murderous Hurricane. And Stormcaller is really nice too. Next is Fury of the Wolf. Sorry, next one's kind of cool. I like this one. Fury of the Wolf Spirits. It's a Warp Charge 2, but it is a really cool shooting attack. So it's a Witchfire, but each time the power is manifested, the Psyker shoots using both of the profiles. So not one or the other, use both. And one at a time in any order. Both attacks must be target the same unit. And one's called Fury of Freki, 18-inch range, Strength 6, AP minus, Assault 4. And the other one's called Fury of Jerry, 18-inch range, Strength 5, AP 2. So that's going to kill some things. Oh yeah. Assault 2, Precision Shot. You can shoot both, and you can shoot in whichever order you want, so it's great for picking out those independent characters or something really pesky. You can wipe out some Terminators, and then, you know, it'll be cool stuff. And finally, Jaws the World Dwarf. Now, I'm a Tyranid player, and Jaws kind of put the fear of God in all of us for that. Jaws was a game changer back when it came out in 5th edition, because it came out at the same time where Nidzilla was at its peak, just before the new Codex came out for Tyranids. And basically, you could just line up a shot and wipe out an entire squads of Carnifexes at a time, because they had to roll a 2 or less on a dice, otherwise Carnifex goes pfft. And that was really powerful. And I've always felt that Jaws was a little OP, personally. So they nerfed it greatly. It's not as crazy, because as you guys have probably noticed, GW has been really toning down some of the in-codex psychic powers, despite the fact the psychic phase is pretty crazy. But here it is. So it's now a focus Witchfire, so you can choose whoever, and you have to roll a dice, and and it's a single target, a single non-vehicle unit within 18 inches, a model hit by Jaws the World Dwarf, must take an initiative test. Monster creatures automatically pass this test, so you can't pick off Carnifexes anymore. That makes me really glad, because now you're going to see more Carnifexes and Tyranid lists. A lot of us were kind of waiting to see what happens with Jaws, because Jaws just destroyed Carnifexes. It will be still really nasty against Necrons, Orcs, some Tyranid lists. Anything with low initiative is going to be really screwed over by it. But basically, if they pass it, nothing happens. If they fail it, remove from play. So a lot of remove from play already. That's craziness. So I figure might as well, we'll go into the Warlord traits, and then we'll end here, because this video is already getting pretty long, and I will focus on each part of the force organization chart. Oh yeah, and also we should go over army-wide special rules. Yeah, so let's do army-wide special rules first. So, Venrisian Wolves and Cyber Wolves. If a Space Wolves character takes Venrisian Wolves and or Cyber Wolves as upgrades, they and the character are treated as a single unit. That makes sense. If a Space Wolves character has an independent character special rule, he and his wolves are permitted to join other units, in which case both the characters and his wolves join the unit. That's fair. If the independent character then leaves the unit, all the surviving wolves also leave the unit, forming a separate unit with him. Again, that is pretty logical. If the independent character is killed while part of a unit, his surviving wolves are thereafter part of that unit and cannot leave it. So he kind of leaves them behind in the unit. Makes sense. And if the independent character is killed while is not joining a unit, do not remove any of the surviving wolves. In this case, the unit is not completely destroyed until all the wolves have been removed as casualties as well. These wolves cannot join other units. Another independent character can join the surviving wolves. That's cool. But they are not his upgrades. He cannot take them with him if he joins another unit. Makes sense. Cool. So that's a pretty simple army-wide special rule. It's about wolves. And finally, Warlord traits. We'll go over the Warlord traits, and then the following video, next video, I'm going to go over the HQs, because that's where the fun begins. And as I said, 6 HQs. That's awesome. 6 HQs is going to be fun and silly and crazy. 6 Rune Priests running around the field with Murderous Hurricane and Living Lightning is just going to be nasty. Maybe that's why, because I think that's probably why they knocked out Jaws, because if you had 6 Rune Priests with Jaws, that'd be broken. Just beyond broken. Because eventually you'd fail your initiative test, and you'd just be picking off parts of your army. So we'll go over the Warlord traits. The Warlord traits. Number 1 is called Saga of the Warrior Born. When fighting in a challenge, the Warlord rerolls all failed to hit rolls. Good. Good for a challenge again. You want to get your character in a challenge, apparently. Number 2 is Saga of the Wolfkin. The Warlord and all friendly units with the Space Wolves faction consisting entirely of beasts or cavalry units, so have the Stubborn special rule. So that's great for your Thunderwolf cavalry or your beasts. That's cool. If a friendly unit with the Space Wolves faction is within 12 inches of the Warlord at the start of the assault phase, beasts or cavalry models in that unit have Furious Charge until the end of the phase. +1 in strength, not bad at all. 3 is Saga of the Beast Lair. The Warlord has the Monster Hunter special rule. So again, if you're against Tyranids or Demons, you roll a 3, you're in great shape. And plus, remember, you do get to reroll your Warlord trait if your primary detachment is Space Wolves. Number 4 is called Saga of the Bear. The Warlord and his unit have the Feel No Pain 6+ special rule. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that one. A 6+ Feel No Pain, again, I've tried with Orcs, not really worth it. Number 5, Saga of the Hunter. The Warlord has the Outflank and Stealth special rules. That's awesome. Outflanking anything is awesome. Because you come in, especially with Space Wolves, who have a lot of firepower, awesome. And Stealth. So again, you come into cover, you have a 4-up or a 3-up cover save, not bad at all. And 6 is Saga of the Majesty. The Warlord and all friendly units with the Space Wolves faction within 12 inches of him must reroll failed morale checks and pinning checks. Again, because Space Wolves are kind of known for lower leadership, but there's a couple HQs that will allow leadership 10 around, and there's a couple HQs that limit it to 8, so it's kind of cool. But so there we go. So that's my first video in my in-depth review of the new Space Wolves Codex. So my overall opinion, as I said, there have been changes. The psychic powers aren't as powerful. The new special rules, like Nigel has lost a lot of special rules. He lost his Storm. But they got some great new additions. They got a great chariot. They got some vehicles which are hard-hitting. They have arguably one of the best Skyfire special rules ever in this codex. And I'll be going over all these things. And 6 HQs in an army. I'll be going over this in future videos, so stay tuned for the next video where I'll be going over the Warlord, specifically the Warlord section, so the HQ section. And yeah, until next time, this is Jay saying check out my next video. If you like the video, comment in the comment section down below if I missed anything. And happy painting.